Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our June meeting of Transportation Public Facility Public Works Committee. The minutes were sent out to everyone by email, so let's accept the minutes, motion to approve the minutes. Second. Second, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, none opposed? Attendance wise, Kathleen, you got it?
I got it.
Okay. Good. All right, Ray, we'll start with you.
Okay, highway crews, as always, crews working on this resident request, which, is anything from trees, patching of poles, basin, repairs and, small drainage projects and just everyday housekeeping. Number 3, personnel, highway and parks, we have a full crew in both departments. It was, our last grounds worker was approved last month and is going through the process of his pre-employment, so we hope to have him soon. Number 4, parks crews, been mowing of all parks and town-owned facilities, the athletic fields and bowling ponds and cul-de-sacs and all that they do, so plenty to do out there with that.
Dry weather has given us a little chance to.
Well, this week, yes, prior to that, it was a challenge. So the baseball field project has been completed. We're a little bit under budget, and I give a lot of that credit to the collaborative effort between all of our departments, Matt and his department, from drawing up the plans to being out there doing field grade shots and working with us diligently. Him and Dan have been more than graceful to come out and work with us and help us out. The highway and parks crews that did this job all through the winter, and it's final. It's done, it's hydroseeded. And the grass is just starting to grow.
Who's gonna monitor the watering? Are you?
Matt is actually doing it. So, and we're, because of the investment, it's crucial that we keep it wet. So
Right.
we don't want to lose all that, but a lot of work went into this. We're gonna put this to bed. We're not gonna talk about it anymore after today. But just wanted to thank everybody that was involved in that. The next project that the parks crews we're gonna be working on is we're gonna move over here to the town hall, work on the front patio, and some other related repairs around this complex that went all the way back to budget time with Beth. Identifying some things around here that need to be taken care of, so.
Are we trying to do all that in the house? Cause I know we had walked around about some masonry work that might need.
We're gonna do our best. It's a challenge to try to find a subcontractor to come give us a price, let alone do the work, so. We're gonna see how overwhelmed we get, and we may still be open to that option because there is quite a bit. Or we may look at alternative efforts. I don't know. But we're gonna do our best to get this overdue items taken care of, so. And then from there, or it may even be a split thing. We did start doing some work over in the Fieldstone, removing some of the wooden bridges. We have a plan. We got some materials ordered to start stabilizing and doing them trails. That's a big undertaking over there, but we're also going to be working on that type of stuff. Yard waste, the trucks begun their regular scheduled pickup starting May 8th. Again, please read the flyer on the website, or there's some copies down by the clerk's office. Stickers are down by the clerk's office if anybody needs them to identify their barrels. To this point, we've been using Labor Ready on 2 trucks, and we've been using highway staff. Mondays and Thursdays are our 2 biggest zones, and they're still heavy enough where we need our 3rd truck to complete them zones for the day. So a split personnel we're using for that. Truck lift in the mechanics bay. We had a recent inspection. Indicated that the lift would need to be replaced. The year, it's a late 80s, early 90s lift, something that's used every day to work on both mine and Matt's. All public works vehicles. It's something that gets a lot of use. It only has a certain life expectancy. They wouldn't even give me a quote to repair it. Because of its age, obviously, and because of the different things that are wrong with it, it wouldn't be cost effective to repair it. So
Did you have to take it out of service or?
we did. We have a smaller 2-post lift that we use in the midterm, but we have to move on this. I'm currently looking for quotes. I believe because they are something that a lot of people use, that they are on a contract. So as soon as I get the quotes, I'll get them to Beth, and this is something that.
I'll pencil that in as a tentative resolution.
And
as they
I
are-
would, I'm expecting quotes any day now, so
Or maybe over here. Finance and
I'm
maybe-
guessing it's gonna be. Paving. So the town is working on the first round of paving roads for the 2023 season. So, as a lot of you may have seen, we're over here in the Orchard Park section. There's quite a few roads that are being prepped for paving. Our tentative date for paving is the last week of June, first week of July. And this isn't uncommon. This has to do with letting school get out, not impact school buses, not impact, people traveling back and forth to school. So we're on track. I think there's 6 or 7 roads right here in this subdivision that are being done. And, I'd like to give credit to everybody that's working over there, the highway crews, the milling crews, water and sewers over there, checking the infrastructure to ensure that when roads are paved, that the total infrastructure has been inspected and repaired, and they're doing a great job. It's been hot out there, plus with what we got going on, they're still humping it. So kudos to all them people that are involved with making that happen, with the least possible impact to the residents in that area. And we will put out our letters and post the road when we get a firm date on the paving. So that's all going well. Number 8, disc golf and low mow at the former landfill cap. So we did mow. We shrunk up the disc golf course a little bit more from last year. It's still very playable. As we said, pilot program. So this is our 2nd year of doing that. We altered some things by recommendations from Roy Thornton and his group. I've attached to my agenda a brief email that Roy sent me with his findings
I think almost everybody saw that.
around May 18th. I just put it on here just to
Yeah.
acknowledge, he puts a lot of time in down there. He's very
Yes, he does.
passionate about this, and he's been very good to work with in this process. So his knowledge is great, and his passion for identifying, what a lot of people like to see.
Yeah, he goes out, takes the pictures of the birds and.
He does. He also sent me an email. He wants to meet up with either myself or somebody from my staff to identify some invasive species of plants on the on the landfill cap, so we'll try to accommodate him. He's sent me a slew of dates to go down there and meet up with him on that stuff. And it gives us an idea of good land management down there, and we're trying to take advantage of it. Sweeper, the town sweeper is currently in zone 4. For his first time through. You'll see him bouncing around because we use him every few days on road reconstruction to try to keep the neighborhoods as dust free as we can during the construction season, to less impact the residents over in that area. Resolution for surplus item. I have one more item. I'm trying to get this on the auction, and our new one should be in any day, so we try to auction these things off when we can get the most money for them, and this is a prime time for this, so this is just one item. I don't know, I know you got some stuff on last month. I don't know if you have anything else. So if you want to get it to Elena, you can do that for surplus. Surplus, so I know Lori's gonna touch on this in her meeting, but the bus had the minor adjustments made that we identified when we got the new bus, so we're getting all the decals and stuff off the old bus, and that will be going up for auction as well for the community program.
She did not mention that.
It's already been resoed
Oh, okay.
to go, but she was gonna discuss it. We held it until we knew that our new bus was 100%, that we didn't have to take it out of service, so. She will mention it in her meeting. Oh, okay. All right, so that'll be going on. Open discussion for any projects or anything related to me or Matt.
So you and I, Ray and I went over to the rec center and walked those trails that they flagged out over there. I had tick spray, we put that on before we started, so it's prepared. So I guess, have you made any headway with National Grid? Where are we with that?
I'm waiting on some information from the building department.
Okay,
Laura was working on it, and obviously she's been out,
right,
so hopefully when she gets back, she can get me what I need for National Grid. National Grid has requested some items.
They are looking for 2 crossings, but if it comes down, I think where they can only get one, they can work with that. They're pretty close together. Places, the map is wanted, stuff like that. We need to reach out to Jackson's. That's the neighbor that's really gonna be impacted. That won't really be impacted, but we want to be a good neighbor and let them know kind of what's going on there. So how do we want to proceed with that? Do you want the supervisor's office to call them? Do you want me to call Jackson?
Or a letter, just stating, that they may see some activity on that side. We just want to be good neighbors, and they're gonna see activity, and of course, our people that are in are gonna see activity from them, so just maybe a good neighbor notice,
I think we should just draft up a little letter,
Agreed.
right? Send it to them.
it's more of a courtesy thing,
It
right?
really is. Yeah. And they have posted signs for like that property, I think they sort of. Because of the proximity to it, so we just let them know what's gonna be going on there. So you're sort of waiting on that. Should we sort of give them the go ahead to clear or use the trails that are on our side, or want to wait? What are people's thoughts on that?
I mean, my concern was if they cleared and there's no crossing, it's inviting people to cross without having the permission. I know it's that at the prior meeting. Okay. I mean, it's
Fine with them waiting.
if they wanted to do it like up at the
anxious.
top or, you know what I mean, like towards the back where it's not necessarily connecting to where the crossing would be, then I guess it would start it and we can see how quickly National Grid will
the crossing is the connection. So there's
No,
really
there's-
nowhere
No, but
to
I'm talking
go.
about you have like, it's like a loop, if they did it back up here, you know what I mean, but
Yeah.
not where the crossing is. Then they started to clear and they got that part done, but, I mean,
On the rec center side of that.
right,
We took some pictures, gotta send them even, some of the stuff they cut, but they left it really big and long, that they have to cut stuff close to the ground. Look like they usually their punches or machete or something left, pointy stick up, that's foot high out of the ground, that's kind of dangerous, if it falls. They impale themselves on that.
Yeah.
Gotta cut it close to the ground.
They did minimal. It looked like they were just did enough to get through the flag where they wanted to go. It didn't look like they were building trails yet, but they, they just did a little bit where they wanted. Another item that we did discuss was during the week at one of our, small meetings would mean that, was the fob system for the towers, right? You're pursuing,
Yes.
just trying to get a quote on making that a secure site.
We got that gate in place.
Gates replaced, we're looking at, I guess the next step would be working with Seth. For as far as communication to that radio building. It used to have old copper lines. But before we can go any further, I think Charlie was having trouble with phone lines and I think they've been disconnected. And I didn't know if we could try to work out something with radios or.
What I would suggest is either we get a low bandwidth, Time Warner connection or maybe cellular. You'd be looking at about $40 a month, $38.99, I think it is. And be able to put in a more modern fob system where you can communicate with it.
Okay. Because I think we were paying that anyway for the phone line before.
Probably.
Okay, well, we wanna work on that, right?
Yeah, and once we have some communication, we can bring back in the company that was taking care of the old panel. I don't know whether or not that panel works because I think the roadblock that Charlie kept running into was phone line related. So if we can get at least maybe even pull it off or have them come in and check it and make sure that.
So cellular would be similar to like a SCADA, they'd be able to operate it by.
Yep.
And that falls in line with where you've been upgrading,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
So that might be a good option.
So we would start at the tower site and then do it at the water plant as well. Then eventually to the sewer plant. But the water plant and sewer plant is not as critical because we have people there.
Right.
The tower is more of a security.
Right, there's nobody there and there's a lot of other traffic, if you will, that goes up into there, the
Yes.
cellular providers and stuff like that need to have access.
And it's pretty isolated and
Yeah.
it was made clear years ago that you want to keep them secure, so.
Absolutely.
But we got the new gate, so we got it secure, so we
Yeah.
want to at least make it easier for mailing.
Yeah, so I don't have a cost yet. We had to do some more investigating and find out exactly what level of upgrade we need to do. So hopefully by the next month, I can have some numbers.
Just putting it out there that that's something that we're working on.
Okay.
And then I guess I got a couple more minutes. So spring projects, we have I'll make it quick, River Road, we got, working on a pavilion, we got, the playground. We have, additional parking, them are 3 items at River Road Park that will be coming, that we're working on now to facilitate and get going. As well as Avon Crest Park, additional parking, couple small drainage upgrades over there that we identified when we did the tennis courts. Some reconfiguration over there, so we're gonna be doing that. In conjunction, we're gonna be doing some street paving over in that area. So as a cost savings measure, we're gonna make sure that our timing is right so that we can piggyback right on coming from the road while the pavers are there. We don't have to pay to get them in here. We don't have to wait. We'll incorporate it with that section of town that will be paving. So, timing's key on that. So you may see some activity in these couple parks, sporadically, you know, from paint marks layout to, you know, actually getting over there and getting it prepped, so. Just a heads up on that, because we will get calls whenever there's any activity, so. And I think that's it for me. Anything from you?
No,
Been pretty quiet over
All right, Matt, Public Works.
Okay, so, you did the minutes already?
We did a minute for both meetings.
Okay. So, attorney's items, T-Mobile, I know we've been going back and forth. with them.
They have finally agreed to our terms.
Good.
So that will be for this one.
We have a fence easement agreement for 1362 Royal Road. I've looked at the site, it's just a fence that someone wants to put across drainage easement that we have, all the neighbors adjacent have done the same thing, and it would not impact their maintenance or no catch basins within the backyard, so everything would be straight through. It's
Yeah,
just drainage. And I have two outside users that came up after this was posted on the website. Outside sewer user agreements are going to be needed for 853 Pierce Road. And a possible one will be needed for 2651 Aqueduct Road. The Aqueduct Road one is, they're more just inquiring right now.
okay, it's not one of the people from before that had inquired and said they'd get back to us.
I believe it's a new one.
Okay.
I think they're trying to figure out how much it would cost, and whether that would be feasible to connect in. I just didn't want to have that outside user agreement come up at the last minute, so. That will be a tentative resolution. Water and sewer maintenance crews, we're still working with Robert Green. Dodge out in the western part of the state, try to purchase trucks off the Onondaga County bid. We're at the point now where they're now pricing out 2024, so we're waiting for them to get the updated pricing on the 2024s. So they promised that within the next week we should have that information, so I'm hoping I can get that on there. And a couple other trucks have popped up online. We have to do a mini bid for those. We'll try to do those if it makes sense, but if that doesn't work out, we're gonna fall back on the Onondaga. That is the easiest way to do it. Just have to wait longer for the trucks.
Did you have trucks on site or they weren't?
They were
great.
tons, yeah. But he was good to work with and said that he could report.
We had them.
I have a resolution to permanently appoint a maintenance worker. A maintenance worker that's getting off probation. And spoken to the supervisors down there, they're very happy. I'd like to move forward with that. I'll provide the name of that. Surplus, as Ray mentioned, is the surplus resolution. I have some roll-off containers, 1995 Freightliner chassis, and the 07 sewer grout truck chassis and equipment that would like to surplus. Our new camera truck should be here in early July, so we can surplus it now and we'll keep it until we need it and sell it on. The lawn watering regulations. I know Rotterdam recently had some restrictions on water usage. We're not at that point yet, but we do have in our town code and on the website seasonal regulations that say when we should be or can be watering, and it runs I think from May 1st to November 1st. I will put something on. I like to put something on the webpage that would just remind people of those regulations and update any information that's online.
It's uneven, correct?
Odd even
Even 7 and 9.
7 and 9. It's a little complicated because it does differentiates between whether it's a new lawn and also whether or not you're using automatic timed sprinklers. They are 4 to 6 a.m. and 7 to 9. I think it's just to try to balance it out so that the demand isn't all at the same time.
Yeah.
They assume because it's timed, you know, to wake up in order to water the lawn. So I'll make sure that's online. I know it's on there, but I'd like to do a mail blast as well, Seth. To remind people.
email it to Jamie. She'll approve it, I'll throw it up there.
Another item that came up after this was posted. I'd like to move forward to appoint a senior water and sewer maintenance worker. And then currently have an open position. And we're beginning to interview within the staff and getting reservations from the people who are interested in the position. So that will be a tentative resolution. And I just want to say that the water and sewer guys, like Ray mentioned, they've been working side by side with highway, being all the prep to the paving, checking on all of our water valves and rebuilding manholes as needed, raising the manholes, measuring so that everything's flush when we pave. We're also doing the same thing for the county roads. County's going to be paving Woods and Niskuna, and New York State is paving Union Street. We see them doing that right now all tonight. So we had to do that same work on Union Street as well. That came up out of nowhere. We had no warning at all.
No warning
I
at
was
all.
wondering about that, but I was
Yeah,
driving
we-
back like on Tuesday night, I think it was, and all of a sudden,
Signs are up and. you
no, they were
Yeah,
actually
I
working.
think-
There was no, like, they were just doing work. I don't know.
I think we got the Dig Safely New York notices. And that was our first notice. So we contacted them quickly. The good news on those, if there's any drainage adjustment rings necessary for the valves or the manholes, the state takes care of that. I think. I don't know.
They start at Balltown, from Balltown down to Palmer is the county, from Balltown up to Route 7 is the state. And that seems to be where their work boards are through the V where our islands are. So that's the worst section. So I'm guessing they'll transition into where it hits Route 7 from both directions.
And I do have a preliminary list of what the county's paving, but they haven't finalized it yet. They're still working out their numbers and see how far they can go down their list. But I know Knott Street and I want to do, I think, a portion of River Road and possibly Dean Street as well. But that's not official. And there's some other small roads that they're going to do.
We just want to communicate to residents best that we can.
Yeah.
And they communicate to us.
I can tell you they're probably keeping everything tentative as we do, because the cost of oil right now from our bid prices is up and steadily climbing. So
Yeah, so I think.
there will be an impact on everybody's, I think, list.
Yeah, so they have a wish list, like the same thing like you do, and they get down as far as they can, and they have to cut it off.
It's all cost driven, so, and it fluctuates because of the oil.
We're gonna try to purchase as we go along. Stay slightly ahead of them with the materials that we need to do the work, because we don't wanna buy everything up front and then have not finish the work, so. What is your, wastewater treatment plant? Dan was down there yesterday. We did, get the support that we promised from LMAC to make the programming changes on the beast. That seems to have gone smoothly. So there's no obstacle to moving forward at this point. Continue ramping up our trucks coming in.
So that's working better.
Well, no,
Changes were made, we haven't had a load come in,
Yeah.
so we made changes.
it's gotten better from the last time, but this is the last adjustments that we were told we should fix the issue that we were having. It's exactly what they did in Montpelier, where they had very similar issue, and it worked very well there. So I don't see any major obstacles going forward as far as taking in the waste. And we're ready to bring the gas system up online as well. I think that next week. The thought.
That's good.
Yes. Yep. So the flare is working very well right now. We made some modifications to other parts of the treatment practices. Grinders on the head of the plant. We adjusted some of those and put some improved washing on the equipment. So just fine tuning the equipment so that everything works to.
All the new piping's in place for the gas.
Yes, yep. And, so once that's online, we'll start benefiting from beneficial reuse of gas as well. Zero gas. Well,
That's all like that, cut down on utility bill.
Very excited about that.
So I have an opening for the plant mechanic / truck driver at the plant. We've done some interviews. The last applicant that we interviewed, we were very happy with. I'd like to reach out to him and offer him a position. If that all goes well, I will have a resolution to appoint. And I think that if the civil service change necessary. As far as the truck driver, the CDL.
Yes, I requested that.
Okay.
It's in works.
Great. We're still working to evaluate the blower motor repair. I don't think that's going to require a resolution, but we're still leave down as a tentative, depending on how much work is required. The water plant, we continue to do the upgrade at the plant and both clean water pumping stations. Our electrical contractor has been making improvements at all 3 locations. Our crew has been, our water maintenance crew has helped out. But a lot of the work has been done also by our water plant operators. They've done a great job to do a lot of work in-house to keep the costs down and really help move the project along. I think this week coming up, our new chlorinators will be online. So that's a big piece of the upgrade that was we were looking forward to. That equipment is in the 80s or older, so it's good to get that updated.
Have you started to work for the new transformer?
That was next.
That's next?
Yeah.
Let's see, next.
So I have a quote from a contractor to do the assist with the building of the pad and trenching for the conduit. To move forward with that and with that contract. And then our staff would help with placing the conduit in the ditches and working with the electrical contractor. Still waiting on an updated price from the electrical contractor to do the final connection from the transformer to the building. We've sent drawings to them and communicated what the change in scope. We're just waiting for an updated price from them for a change order. We've reduced the scope quite a bit by moving the transformer closer to the building and putting more, and National Grid has agreed to do the remainder of the work on the other side of the transformer, which is great.
We have the proper number of quotes for the transfer.
I think it's gonna be under the amount that needs.
Okay.
We may not even read, I think the dollar amount is $400 over, but it's just supervisor's approval. But
Okay.
So does that need to be finance approval instead of resolution?
it's, what is the limit for finance? It's
6.
76.
I
It's
don't-
public works, so yeah, I mean, it's not bodies. It's under 10, I think 10 is the one.
Yeah, I can check
Me,
my
I usually
email.
don't, I just had other things in the last week. I can check in that list, but yeah.
And so if it doesn't require a resolution and just finance level, we'll do finance. So, yeah. Let's see. Recycling center. I know we're taking electronics for fitting now. And I don't know if there's as much of a desire to have a free electronics TV recycling day, but the shredding is always a big hit with the people. And I didn't know if we wanted to schedule a shredding day in the fall, because Kathy has to coordinate with the shredding company, and as we get closer to the fall, the available days run out.
Yeah, well, let's do it. Let's do it. What did we do last time? What date did we use? Was it September, October,
Weeks later.
I think it was October,
Yeah.
but I don't remember what day.
well, look up what we did last year and that same weekend.
Some
So that
dates
same
and run it by.
Saturday.
We want to do electronics at the same time, even though we take them at the transfer station. We could have the container here and just take whatever.
Probably should have it there.
People are used to it. They show up,
They are
if we
used
show
to
up, they show up and it's not there.
Right. They'll be happy. It's free.
I've got some calls on it too.
So you're exactly charged. You've gotten some calls about the electronics.
Yeah,
And you told them they can go right to the train.
I did not know until when did we talk about this? Because I was looking to schedule a recycling Yeah. And I haven't had a call since then, but so that's. Just
So-
to add to that, we're gonna be doing a paint recycling July 15th. Obviously, yes.
Where are we gonna be doing that?
If we're gonna do it up at the senior community center.
What was that?
Because-
July?
15th, because they'll be able to come down Banker to Community Center Drive, and then it'll be like a one-way in, one-way out. So I'm gonna be sending out an email to hopefully get some volunteers for that.
And that's what it's.
Yes, I know, I think I do too.
Are we doing that with-
We're doing it with, it's a new program that's state funded. It's called Green, I don't know I can give you all the information, Bill, because I've been working pretty closely with the man, but they're out of Rotterdam now. There's gonna be a recycling set out of Rotterdam, and they're actually gonna recycle it and resell the paint. But it's free, and they've been getting, great results by doing it, but they really were hoping that Niskuna would do one because we're so kind of, green conscious and stuff, so it should be a good event.
That's great.
Does it
Yeah.
have to be? So.
It cannot be aerosol, but no, it can be
But like
the
if the
paint
paint's
can.
been around long enough.
Yeah.
to turn it out, will they take it?
I mean, maybe.
No, they're gonna take a whole, the only thing that you can't recycle is the aerosol.
I know the one thing too, we also have calls on household hazardous waste.
If you send them to the county website, they have periodic dates,
I don't know.
but
They send it
the,
back.
that's it, yeah, they have periodic dates when they have,
Someone good at
just go on that website and they have periodic dates listed for that. The paint, I know you can take to the county fund as well, but not a lot of our residents will go there. I'm sure this will be a good event.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, it'll be good.
That's why we wanted to do it in a place that would be able to hold the aerosol.
I mean, any of that stuff, the shredding's been good, the TV thing was good. I mean, people really come out and been beneficial, for sure.
So the one issue we had with the TV in the past, it's always been just TVs, and they wanted to come up with a printer, and they said, can I send them away? Now that the rules have changed, and you can't charge for printers or computers, we want to open it up to electronics.
Absolutely, and if that's what
It's gonna
the
be-
new law is,
Yeah.
we should, in regulation, we should take that stuff, right?
But it doesn't cost you to get rid of any of it, right? It doesn't cost you anything to get rid of that.
No,
right?
we can't charge, they can't charge, they have to go back to the manufacturer. If the company we use has to work with the manufacturer.
And that covers electronics too?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can bring the old
Light
printers.
bulbs, CFL light bulbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Posted what people can bring.
Yeah, I
And do you need a landfill permit to do that or no?
at the transfer station, we,
Is it to permitted people only or is it to everybody?
I decided and we were just, show the town ID, they would take it, right? Because
We haven't had
they're
it.
charged, so you couldn't really say, well, you gotta go get a permit, which you'd have to pay for, it, right?
Any. This
yeah,
just came
this
out.
is here.
But I think we probably should have it at the shredding event, the dumpster, so that
Oh, yeah, yeah.
people are gonna bring electronics.
That if it's anything like when we first started taking TVs, there's gonna be a rush. You're gonna have a lot of old computers.
A lot of dusty TVs there.
TVs are, it's people come down, it's everything else now.
Printers, the monitors,
Yeah.
computers, that's what's gonna be coming.
He's gonna have quite a few people that would pull up with a car full of electronics and a TV, and so we can only take the TV, and then they drive off. So, go back.
And then we pick them up in the back, one of the parts.
So that's all I have. You work on a date on that?
Yes, if we you work on a date for that, that's good.
Thank you, Gabby.
Anything else, Matt?
The only thing we were gonna add was that we have reached an agreement with the water and sewer union. So I don't know if it'll be on this month because their contract doesn't expire until the end of the year, so it's not necessarily a rush to get the language done, but if it's not on this month. That's.
And then one other thing, the transfer station sign is back up. So
Yes.
July sixth at 8 a.m. I will accept the motion to adjourn. Motion, a second for that, please. Second, all in favor? Aye, any opposed? Adjourn. Great.
It's gonna be a water and sewer